Until now, I have explained the buy and sell signals that happens, I would say, 90% of the time. However, 10% of the time, there are buy and sell signals that are slightly different than those that I have just explained. And they are very often, I would say that almost all the theorists neglect this signal. And this signal is really vital in case you don't get the setup we have explained right now. So to recap, you are going up, bull market, down, then secondary reaction, then you break down, and then you get the sell signal. However, 10% of the time, we don't get this beautiful setup, and the Dow theory contains an additional way to derive buy and sell signals. This signal is vital, and as I said, it's very often neglected by Dow theorists because it is buried in one paragraph in this book. This is Reyes, The Dow Theory. Was written in 1932. This is a jewel, it's something really, it's an excellent book. And then on page 77, Reyes says that if the lows or highs, depending for a buy or sell signal, of the previously completed secondary reaction are broken down or up, then we get a new sell or buy signal. I will show you in a graph how this works. This is the signal of last resort, according to the Dow theory, but if you ignore it, then you will be late on 10% of the time, but this is vital to keep your performance high. So let's get started. Let's imagine we have the Dow Industrials here, and let's say that we are in a bull market. So now let's revisit the sell signal. So we are in a bull market, we are making higher highs, and then each decline is a secondary reaction, then we had a higher high, another secondary reaction, and then we have another higher high. The same happens to the Dow Transportation. It is a bull market, so high, secondary reaction low, higher high, secondary reaction low, higher high. And now let's imagine that the market starts to fall, falls, and it does not stage the rally I explained previously. No? It continues falling, and the same happens with the Dow Transportation. Falls, no rally, it continues falling. Then we have to keep an eye to the lows, this one, of the last completed secondary reaction. What does this wording mean? By last completed secondary reaction, I mean the secondary reaction that occurred before the latest highs. So we had this secondary reaction. This reaction was successfully terminated by higher highs, which means continuation of the bull market. So this is the last completed, because it's been finalized, the last completed secondary reaction. And this is our buy-sell signal of last resort. Because I insist, normally at a higher level, we get this setup, and then when these lows are broken down, we get the sell signal on a confirmed basis. But of course, then we get a much better price level to sell. But sometimes the market does not oblige, and it continues dropping. So under the classical Dow theory, we need a point to define when to sell. And this point is the lows, when we are in a bull market, are the lows of the last completed secondary reaction. So if you project such lows horizontally, same here, then when such lows are jointly broken down, then you get here a sell signal. And I tell you, more or less, this is 10% of the time, but this is very important because then, without this alternative sell signal, then you would have no way to escape. Next, I'm going to explain the buy signal, using in this case, it will be the highs of the last completed secondary reaction. Let's go. Okay, now